Welcome to the Love That For You podcast, where every week you're invited to dream big, laugh often, and celebrate the extraordinary stories of those who inspire. Your story matters, and I love that for you. Hey friends, before we jump into our conversation, I just wanted to remind you, if you don't know already, I actually host another podcast called QueenCity Connect. This is a podcast that celebrates the dreamers, the doers, and the change makers of Charlotte, North Carolina. If that sounds like something that would interest you, I would love for you to go check it out on any podcast platform, even the one you're listening to right now. We would absolutely love that. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, rate and review, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. We also have an Instagram page that you can follow along to see who all of the incredible small business owners and nonprofits and creatives that make up Charlotte, North Carolina are at. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, we would love for you to listen in. Thanks, everyone. I am so excited to announce a brand new sponsor for the podcast, Sort and Store. Okay, Erin is one of my very good friends. She started this company, Sort and Store, and I can personally vouch that they're amazing, not only because I see the work she does, but I have hired her personally to come into my home and help me organize multiple spaces. When I asked her what she wanted to share about her business on this podcast, here's what she said. Between running a business and two busy, sports-loving girls all over the state, I know firsthand how quickly clutter can become chaos. By creating long-lasting organizational systems that are easy to maintain, we've been able to create routines that make it easy to restore the peace and enjoy our home, allowing our family to spend more time doing the things that we love. At Sort and Store, we strongly believe your home should be your refuge and sanctuary, not your cause of stress. Our mission is to help busy families overcome the overwhelming spaces in their homes, giving back the time to spend on the things that matter most. Mention QueenCity Connect or Love That For You when booking and receive $50 product credit to the Container Store to be used towards your session. Miranda,
yes.
welcome to the Love That For You podcast.
Welcome back
But here's
to
the thing.
Love That For You.
Have you been on Love That For You, or have you just been on QueenCity Connect?
No, I hosted Love That For You
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
That was QueenCity Connect.
Oh. I can't keep them all straight, Morgan.
I can't either. I'm sorry.
You can't. My
We're
God.
so busy.
QueenCity Connect, you're right. But hold on. I wasn't on Love That For You.
I think when you came on QueenCity Connect, we didn't even really know each other. I mean,
Yeah,
I was hearing your story for the first time. Neither one of us, I don't think, had really gone through our transformations.
I'm confused. You interviewed me for QueenCity Connect. Then I interviewed. So that was QueenCity Connect.
Yep.
You interviewed me for that?
Remember you came in with your really cute cheetah bag and you sat and I got the picture of you and Canon. I don't even think I had Kodak yet.
Okay. So that was QueenCity Connect.
Yep.
Then I hosted it for you with my 3 people.
That was QueenCity Connect.
QueenCity Connect.
Yep.
So you're right. I have not, but like you showed me the graphic when you had this baby idea. Like I feel like I've been part of Love That For You for a while.
You have been.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that you have a podcast called
All That to Say.
It's so good.
With my bestie, Kristen.
Yeah.
She's killing it. She's amazing at it.
Yeah. It's fantastic. I listen to every single episode. I do notice that at least once per episode, do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
At least once per episode, you or her say, Love That For You.
I'm sure we do. Such a great phrase.
And
I say all that to say sometimes.
I say it so much. So much. I almost have to catch myself to be like, do I really want to say this right now and commit to it?
Or then do I commit to going ding, ding?
And I do. When I say all that to say, I always go ding, ding, ding,
I know.
ding.
I think that means that we've nailed the titles. Because they're being worked into everyday conversation. Every day, one word there.
Well, we've had these conversations before. It's like, are we already saying these phrases or is it because of the podcast that we're just hyper aware of it?
Well, the proper phrase is all of that to say. But Southerners say all that to say. It's like a very Southern phrase. Yeah. And so that's why we went with it instead of adding the of in there. So all of that to say is more proper. And as a grammar girl, it pains me a little bit, but you know what? It's slang and it's okay.
I would love to know if there's like a tiny little like 2-size font of that's right in between the all just for your sanity, just to know that it's there.
I'm letting it go, Morgan. That's growth. Okay.
So proud of you. So proud of you. Well, speaking of growth, this has nothing to do with growth, but you have done a lot.
I've reduced down, not grown bigger, I guess. Yes. Same with you.
But like you're staying busy. So tell everyone who.
Oh, I was talking body size.
What?
I was talking body size. You're saying growth. Got it. Okay.
No, I was following you. Okay. Yeah.
What are you going to say? You finish.
I don't even know anymore.
Okay. I'm very, very booked and busy is what you were saying, with lots of fun things.
I would just love to know, in this season of life, we're coming up on spring 2024, what does a typical day look like for you?
Okay. A typical day usually looks like me getting up to my alarm instead of to my children or husband, because I have older kids. So I have 2 teenage girls. Bella is a senior. Lily is a freshman in high school. And so Bella drives Lily to school. I don't have to get up and do any of like lunches or carpool or anything. And it's amazing. And my husband, Joshua, comes back from doing CrossFit. He does it at like 5 a.m. Those people amaze me. Couldn't be me. But he comes back from CrossFit, makes sure that they're up and doing all the things. And then he goes to work and they go to school and I'm still snoozing.
Is he consistent? Like every morning he does that?
Almost. He's very insane. Consistent. If he's not traveling, if he's not out of town, then most of the time, he's a 5 a.m.er at CrossFit. So I finally wake up and then I usually go to Hilliard Studio Method.
Perfect.
And I work out.
Yeah, that's great.
That's how I'm getting these guns.
Look at us.
I know. Yeah. Look at us. Look at us.
Look at
us
go.
I love that audio.
Yes. So that's what we need. This is what we need Kristen in here for.
You need a soundboard.
We need the soundboard.
Adds so much.
Yeah. It just feels like a lot.
You just,
I have the soundboard.
I'm staring at it. So I work out and then the rest of the day depends on the actual day. Sometimes that's going directly to hang out with Jerry. Everyone here knows Jerry. And no, they don't. I say that. I think everyone knows who my grandma is.
People know. People know.
A lot of people know. So I'll hang out with grandma if it's a Wednesday. If it's Thursday, I go straight to recording our podcast and making all of our content for All That to Say. If it's Tuesday, I'm skipping workout and going to Bible study with you.
She's working out her mind and heart and spiritual state. We love that for her.
We do. So you dragged me kicking and screaming to the first Bible study.
That is so not true. You came willingly and I brought you a Starbucks.
Yes, you did. You bring me a medicine ball, I'll show up anywhere. Half honey. I don't like it very sweet, in case anyone's wondering. But so I decided to do the marriage one as well. So we're doing that together again.
Yeah.
So if it's a Tuesday, it's just very dependent on the day, but it is lovely that I have 3 businesses and I can maneuver and work all of those days in.
Yeah.
And everything's, I was going to say still gets done, but sometimes it doesn't.
I feel like you and I are similar in that way of, I have had a 9-to-5 job before and it was fun in its season and then it was not fun.
Absolutely.
And I was over it. And I almost felt trapped in the I can't get out of here. I'm locked into this. This is what I'm doing every morning when I wake up. I'm going to this job. And I love the job, but just how I am wired, I need the creativity to make each day what I want it to be. Like when I wake up, really the only thing I know I'm going to do, I'm currently not drinking caffeine, but normally I would wake up. Thank you. That's a whole thing. Normally I'd wake up and make my coffee, turn on the Today Show and but beyond that, it was okay, let's see what I should do today.
Yes.
Could I be a little bit more structured? 100%. And I'm not even saying that I shouldn't be, but
I definitely could be more.
As a general rule, I like not knowing where the day's going to go. And
I do too.
And I know that could make some people panic, but that is how I thrive.
Same with me. Absolutely same. I don't have a calendar. I don't write things down. And I know that it's as bad as it's good. It's kind of like when an interviewer goes what's your weakness? And then you try to make it into a positive.
Sometimes I care too much.
Yeah, exactly. I feel a lot and I would feel deeply about your company if you hired me, when people do that sort of thing. So mine is I know I could write things down and be a little bit more, I could remember things. I wouldn't have to make things so hard, but at the same time, kind of nothing stresses me out because I don't write everything down and then feel like I didn't cross everything off my list. So it's good and it's bad. But for the most part, I do like being able to structure my day. Where's the emergency? Where's the glass ball of that day? Right. And so I get that done and the bouncy plastic ones fall where they may.
Okay. I was just telling a friend on the phone last night that analogy of the glass balls and the rubber balls. Where is that from?
Well, the first time I heard it was years ago, but then I believe Elizabeth talked about it a couple weeks ago at Awaken. But yeah, I had already heard the analogy someone had somewhere along the way.
I couldn't remember where I heard it. And I brought it up to my friend on the phone last night. And I was like, like when you're juggling the glass balls. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Why would anyone juggle
Why
glass balls?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, you're not juggling them. You're deciding which ones need to stay up.
It's a priority.
Yes. And which ones can just fall. And certain things in my life are, my children and their schedules, their practices. I do have to get them places still. Yeah. So Bella helps with a lot of that, but I still have Lily who needs me to take her to practice, and I still cook dinner and, all of that sort of stuff. But it is interesting to be in this season of much older kids and how little they need you physically, but that just means that they need you more emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. And I mean, everyone listening to this has a full life. Like we're all busy. We are all juggling a million different things. So now we're an inspirational podcast of like, prioritize and see which things in your life are the glass balls or the rubber balls that you can just lay by the side for a season. It's a good analogy.
It changes all the time, right? Yeah. So last year I said 2023 was a very selfish Miranda year. Yeah. All right. And I didn't
get into it.
I didn't set out to be that way. It just happened that way where 2023 pulled me in these really cool opportunities that I took advantage of all of them. And so
it was her yes year.
It was a yes year. Yeah. And I did it all and it was incredible.
I did it all.
Yeah.
I got there.
I was like,
you're riding that way.
I'll jump in there with you when I recognize it. But also you can sing and I can't. So I'm not going to jump in with you unless I'm feeling extremely confident. And I'm not. So this year I'm trying to focus more on, it's my oldest last year here at home, obviously, because she's a senior. She's about to go to NC State, go pack. So
is that it? Is that the hand motion?
Wolf.
It's so cute.
The wolf. This is their ears and their nose, so cute. That's the wolf pack, pups up. So we're now a big NC State family. So she's about to go away. So I want to make sure that I'm not saying yes to other things, so that I can be fully present for her, and then really trying to pour into my marriage this 2024, because he was so supportive of me last year doing all the things and being gone a lot. So this year I'm just like, this is a more yes to my marriage year, to Joshua. If he says, hey, let's drive here this weekend to go eat at this Mexican place I love in Tennessee, I'm like, yes, we will. Even though we could go to Azteca 2 miles away and save on gas. Yes, I know how much you love to be on the road in your rig and driving. Yeah. So yes. So I'm trying to do that. And that's why the marriage study couldn't have come at a better time.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for me it brings a husband. So yes, we're all working on that. We're all working on it.
She's always like, hey, do you want any nice single guys? And I'm like, I don't think I give off the vibe when I'm going places like, hey, single guys, come up and talk to me. I think I give off like a very don't talk to me vibe for some reason. I don't know if it's the hair or what. I don't know what it is, but there's not a lot of single guys coming up to strike up a conversation with me.
Well, same. So maybe it's a city problem. It's not you. It's the city.
You should have done Love is Blind.
Well, I was just about to say, we saw the disaster that was. Oh, bless.
We're trying to get some of those people on our pod.
That'd be awesome.
I know. It would be awesome.
Some of those people are stand-up people.
Absolutely.
And it was so cool to see it filmed in Charlotte. Yes. And of course, I mean, I have this thought all the time watching reality shows of just like, how much of what we see of this person is truly this person or what the producers want us to see. And it's just tricky because I feel like if I were to go on a show, I could be painted a million different ways. And that has to be so hard to come back to real life and everyone automatically know you, quote unquote, but not really.
Yep. For sure. With Jimmy, I heard.
Here we go. We're getting into it.
I heard with Jimmy that he actually is out a lot and partying a lot, but that the producers did not show that. So when Chelsea was like, I just don't want to be with somebody who's out a lot.
Yeah.
He was like, what are you talking about? I went to one friend's birthday party for half an hour. I drove more than I was there. So I don't know why the producers decided not to show us that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also that's just what I heard on the streets. It doesn't mean that that's true either.
Also, I don't know if I know of one person that lives in South End that doesn't go out. Isn't that the point of living in South End?
Right. I live in Loso because they're trying to make Loso happen, lower South End.
Yeah.
And I don't go out a lot. I can tell you I don't. But I'm also 42 with 2 children.
Yeah. And I also have 2 children.
You do. And they are well, Cannon's finally taking a snooze, but Kodak is on cocaine. I don't know. Is that what co is short for? Kodak? He's on the cocaine. He is bouncing off the wall. So you need a little catnip for him.
Well, I heard
snooze, right?
that if they sniff it, it makes them super hyper crazy active. But if they ingest it, it calms and mellows them out.
So I'm curious. You told me he got a manicure and pedicure today.
Maybe that was it.
Did they give him a little catnip to just like?
No, I did the manicure and pedicure.
Oh, you did the manicure and pedicure. I didn't know that. I do my cat's manis and pedis too.
Yeah, no, I got a little kit on Amazon.
And how did you papoose him down to do it?
I just hold him and I say, it's going to be okay, guys.
And he's good.
And he's good. He kind of goes
to do a towel around our cat's hind legs at least. Because if not, they're like kicking. But my boys also outweigh your boys by a ton.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little harder for me to hold them.
Yeah.
I mean, Wiley is 16 and a half pounds.
Really? Okay.
16 and a half.
Cannon at his heaviest, which I don't know if this is a HIPAA violation, but we're just going to go.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Cannon.
Go ahead.
At his heaviest, he was 14. But he's come down. I think he's like 11 right now.
He is very slender.
You think?
Yeah, I don't think he's anywhere close to 12.
Because people used to come over and be like, what a fat cat. And I'd be like, I don't think he is.
Don't fat shame my cat.
Yeah, for real.
Don't do that to
It's like literally the one thing I'm responsible to keep alive and you're fat shaming it.
Yeah, because that's a reflection of me as a pet owner or a mother. Okay?
Also, their eating habits are different. Cannon will not touch the bowl. He'll graze. He'll eat when he's hungry. Kodak will, if he sees food, he devours it. So I'm like, well, that makes it tricky for me as a mom.
Absolutely. And as a 2-cat household.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, it's hard out here to be.
They don't teach you these things in college.
They didn't put into what to expect when you're expecting.
There was no chapter on feline care.
I love when you say like parenting. Am I right? It makes me giggle out loud every single time I'm watching your stories and you talk about these 2 cats and you say, moms, you get it. Like that kills me. It makes me laugh so hard. Please never stop doing that.
Okay. That affirmation is good for me because I feel really good when I do it, but I know out there somewhere is a mom actually struggling. That's like, are you?
Your story.
But like, it's a cat. So we all really know.
We all know.
Yeah. You had a choice, the baby or the cat, and you chose the baby. So that's on you.
That's on you. Sorry. Not your fault.
Well, speaking of weight.
Yeah. Let's transition into the weight. Oh,
okay. Well, here's what's real. So I asked you to come on the podcast, honestly, just because I like talking to you and I selfishly wanted you to come over to my house. And then you're like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, oh, good point. Let me think. But here's the thing. My listeners of Love That For You have listened to my sister and I share our health journey. And your listeners have listened to you on All That to Say and just through your personal stories and stuff, talk about your health journey. Mm-hmm. So I just thought, what a great mashup. Let's sit down together because what we did was similar, but not exactly the same. And where we're at in life and just age and everything is just
age. Like everything is a little bit different.
Everything's a little different. And it'll just be like a fun update. Like, what are we doing? What are we not doing? Do we have regrets? Are there things that people have said that we're like, you know what? We should have thought through that. Like, spoiler, there's not. But
you'll keep trying. You will. You'll keep trying to tell me all the ways I should feel. Okay. So yes, Morgan and I both take a GLP-1 peptide. And I think it's important to call it what it is. And that's a peptide. So people want to say drug and all this other sort of stuff. It's really a peptide. And that's what a GLP-1 is. And Morgan is on one brand and I'm on a generic form of it. But all of it is what's called semaglutide. And so semaglutide is a mouthful. So I just called it semi on mine.
I think mine's technically called tirzepatide.
Oh, you're tirzepatide and I'm semaglutide. So both end in "ide" for a reason because, again, it's a peptide.
Yeah.
And the most popular form of this is Ozempic. That's what everybody hears is they hear the O word. But that's prescribed to a very specific sect of people with type 2 diabetes, neither of which we have been diagnosed with. But in 2021, the FDA approved these semaglutide, tirzepatides, and GLP-1 medications to be used for weight loss because they were noticing that people who were prescribed them for type 2 diabetes were losing weight. And they're like, hey, We have an obesity epidemic. What if we could start to help people lose weight in a preventative way with this medication instead of waiting for them all to get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and then have to live on this medication forever.
Yeah.
And I know that that's really tough for people to hear. They think that it is unfair, is a lot of the reaction that I get from people. Well, it's unfair that people just get to take this shot and lose the weight and then they're just good to go. They're like fine. And I think we're both here to say that it is not as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I wish it were.
Yeah.
I, more than anyone, and I would think Morgan would too, would say that we wish it was just taking a shot, making no other changes, eating whatever we were eating beforehand, all the sugar, all the fried foods, whatever, eating everything, not moving our bodies, take the shot, have no side effects whatsoever, and wake up a year later with a lot of pounds lost and muscle formed in its place. I wish that I could say that.
That's the opposite of what happens.
Because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality. And people have convinced themselves that that's what's happening behind the scenes.
Well, they think it's the reality because that is seemingly what I would assume is all they're seeing, unless there's people like you and I that are getting to the point where we feel comfortable sharing publicly about our health, which we don't have to do.
No.
So if we chose not to do it, and I'm sure there's hundreds of people here in Charlotte that we know that have not chosen to make public what they're doing, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't see them in 2 months and then you're like, oh wow, like they've really lost weight. And so you just assume, well, they're on that magic drug. And that's all it is, an assumption, because that's not reality.
And celebrities have not helped with this either, because celebrities have been taking it and not saying that that's what they're doing because they know the pushback that comes with it, the judgment that comes with it. And it feels very much like it's this. Now people can assign whatever truth to it because people aren't being truthful about it.
And also, like any tool, it can be abused and used in the wrong way. And we're not about to say that anyone that's doing any of this is not doing it like incorrectly, because that is not true at all.
It's like steroids. When they became really popular, steroids can be used naturally, or you can really screw your body up with them and have all these other complications. And you can just pretend, no, I just built these muscles in the gym, no help whatsoever. And it's like, you're definitely on roids.
Yeah. Or you can overdose on your Adderall.
Or you can overdose on your Adderall, which I can't do because I personally can't even remember to take my regular dosage. So I can't take any more than that. I can't take any more than 0. I can't overdose any more than 0, but you can.
I can, and I did, and it was the worst 3 weeks of my life with insane anxiety and panic attacks, and it's really not a joking matter. But looking back, I'm just like, Morgan, you're an idiot.
You have to laugh about it now, though, because you're like, wow, you done messed up, AA, Ron. You know, that Key and Peele skit. I always quote that. But I'm just glad that you got through it.
Yeah.
But the important thing,
I am too.
The really cool part about you, Morgan, is you will reach out to people and say, I am struggling. Something is going on and I know it's not normal, but I want you to know so that I'm calling on help. I need people to be there for me. And
I sat in Miranda's car the other day crying.
I think that's so important, though, to be able to do with people. Yeah. It speaks to who you are, and then people's responses speak to who you are too.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
I think it's really cool that you were able to like share and reach out, and you had a great support system so that you could figure out what it was as quickly as possible.
Yeah. And what's really neat about that, and also just everything with our weight loss and getting healthy, is the more that I have shared either with friends or on social media, there are people that will DM me and be like, when I was going through all the anxiety and panic attacks I was having a couple weeks ago, I had several people message me being like, this was a true part of my story too. I also had to go to the ER one night and I'm on this medication now, or this is what I stopped taking, or this is, cut a lemon open and suck on the lemon, and that like tricks your brain and like helps regulate your nervous system. Someone told me to like clench ice cubes.
Yeah.
So like, so many,
your body to feel and have sensory reaction.
Yeah. And I never would have had that community had I not put myself out there in a way, which I also understand I do think it comes a little bit easier and more naturally for me. And I would say us,
people.
but if you're listening and if you're struggling with something, reach out to someone because it's only going to hurt you if you sit in isolation.
Yes. And what I always say, and I didn't like invent this, but shame lies in secrets. And so the more you keep to yourself about something, the more shameful you feel about it.
Yeah.
And then that just adds to anxiety.
Yeah.
It all manifests in anxiety.
You know what that actually comes from?
Tell me.
A Bible verse.
Yeah. Shame lies in secrets.
There is a section of that, but it's talking about darkness and light and how the light exposes the darkness. And when the light exposes the darkness, there cannot be any more darkness. Yeah. So it's like, as soon as you expose it to light, it washes it out. And that's in anything. So
that makes sense. Well, speaking of light, I'm lighter now.
What a transition. So how long have you been?
I have been on
this journey
for 11 months. So I started April of last year and I'm weaning off of it right now.
Okay.
Because I'm happy where I'm at as far as weight is concerned. The number, my biggest goal was to get out of the morbidly obese category, was to get a new life insurance rate. And the BMI scale is very tricky. I think we all have a hate relationship with the BMI scale. I don't know one person who loves it. I think that there's a lot of people calling on it to be updated, the numbers on it, because how the BMI scale works is like the shorter you are, it's really tough to get in what's called the normal weight range on the BMI scale. Yeah. So for someone like me who is 5'2", very short, I don't know how I present tall on social media. Everyone tells me, I don't know why, because I am very short, but normal range on the BMI scale is like 103 pounds to 130 something.
For your height?
For my height to be in the normal range, which is why when I was 195, I was morbidly obese because I'm 5'2". As much as we want to hate on the BMI scale, a lot of places still use it as a measure of health. Yeah. And so if you are wanting to get life insurance rates, for example, on you, they take your weight and all your blood pressure and cholesterol, Well, I was off the chart. So I pay more. We pay more to insure me because of this. And so a big goal for me was to get in the normal range just so that I could save some money on my life insurance. That was just a very tangible thing that I wanted to be able to do that had nothing to do with emotions, had nothing to do with how I feel. It was just like, this is black and white. A factual goal. This is a factual number goal. And so that was kind of my guiding light as to goals. Yeah. And then, do I want to be on the tippy top end of that? Which then if I were to gain 1 pound back, that I'm now in the overweight category again? Or do I want to, be kind of more right in the middle of that normal weight range? And then that way it gave me some play. Yeah. Right. And so that was really important to me. And that's kind of where I've landed here with this. And I'm 70 pounds down from 11 months ago. And I'm really happy with that. Yeah. And I'd be happy if I could stay there, which of course brings up, what happens when you get off of that? Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, also life happens. So for me, I had a similar reasoning as well. It's not like we want to go the BMI chart says this exactly, but it is a helpful tool. You had mentioned on one of your previous episodes, there could be a guy who's 5 feet tall and is an avid CrossFitter and is just insane muscle, jacked. But on the BMI scale, it would say morbidly obese. We all know he's not. Correct. So all tools are going to help in some scenarios, not others. So the end goal is being healthy. Yeah. And are you healthy? Do you feel healthy? Are there symptoms implying that you're not healthy? Right. Are you doing what you want to be doing? Do you have the energy to accomplish the purpose in which you are here on this earth for? That is why we're doing this. It's not exactly why. Just so I can fit in a size 6 or 4 or 2 or whatever. But the numbers were the numbers for one reason. But then, yes, all of that, more feeling stuff. My kids are of an age, they were running circles around me. They're like, hey, do you want to come out and play volleyball? And I'm like, yeah, I wanted to be able to do that with them. I want to go on hikes. There are physical things that I didn't do. Yeah. And that doesn't sit right with me. Yeah. And it was just time. And I felt like I had tried everything. Yeah. I've done every diet in the world. I have been very open with my eating disorders. I've been in treatment for both anorexia and bulimia. And so I knew what my brain and body were capable of in the most unhealthy way. I knew that I could go back to that, and I know it's effective.
Yeah.
But I knew I didn't want to.
Right.
And I will say that a lot of people do ask me about that because I have been so open about my EDs, and they're just like, but who would ever prescribe a GLP-1 to someone with a history of anorexia for weight loss? And I'm like, I've never been able to quiet the food noise and the guilt and shame surrounding food and my body the way this has for me.
Yeah.
It has done more for my eating disorder in a great way than any amount of therapy, anything I've ever tried. And I've done it all, like I've said. And so
to not constantly be thinking about all of the things I could be consuming right now, because I feel the same way.
Or why did I consume it?
Yeah.
And then the guilt and shame around it.
Yeah.
It is the most freeing thing in the world to just, this is how some people normally think, Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, this is how some people approach food and their bodies. Is just, I eat to sustain my life and I like it, but I don't.
And some people can also regulate their clarity and energy and focus to complete tasks. And we love that for them too. And some of us can't. So for the ones that can't, they get
prescribed Adderall or something, or people who have anxiety get prescribed Xanax, or people who can't sleep get prescribed Ambien, or people who can't. Medications are used to help people through medical crises.
Yeah.
For us, food was a crisis.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say, this has been approved for weight loss. We are allowed to try it then.
Yeah.
Why is it okay for everyone else to use medication to help with physical reactions their bodies are struggling with? But this is the thing people really are not okay with other people using as a medication to help with the physical thing their body is struggling with. I need people to back off the judgment of that, because everybody is dealing with something.
Yeah, everyone's dealing with something. I do think that this is, in a way, a newer thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are scared of what they don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that we mentioned before we started recording, I think everyone has an identity. Everyone places their identity in something.
Mm-hmm.
And what can happen is, if your identity is not put in the right thing or person or whatever, you will place that somewhere. And some people will put it into a person. And when that person lets them down, they can't handle it. But it has nothing to do with that person.
Right.
It has everything to do with their insecurity for not being confident in who they are and the goal that they have set out for their lives and what they place their identity in.
That has been the hardest thing. And I knew it would be the hardest thing for me. I went into this knowing it, because for those who don't know me, I'm also an influencer. So that's one of my businesses. I'm Miranda and Charlotte, Miranda and CLT on Instagram. Come follow me. Anyway, plug. So I didn't say this. It's not like in my bio, it's like plus size, body positive girl.
And had you done that, that's not even a bad thing. I don't think.
No, but I just didn't. Because my identity is not wrapped up in my body size.
Yeah.
It's not wrapped up in my purple hair. It's not wrapped up in anything. Okay. Like, the physical part of me is the least interesting part of me, I think. So I wasn't that girl, but I kind of got put into that box, I think, on Instagram because I started trying on bathing suits.
Because you are confident and you are willing to share yourself and your body and your story. And you are willing to try on clothes and share sizes to help people.
I was sharing my weight, my size, everything. I was saying, okay, this is a size 12. This, I had to bump up to a 14. This is a large. This is an extra large. And I was still showing up in my body and putting on the least amount of clothes that you can get away with on Instagram before you're banned, which were bathing suits. And I was showing up and doing bathing suit try-ons. And I think that found a big audience, because so many influencers are like extra, extra smalls and sizing down because they want it less baggy.
It's a little baggy.
It's a little baggy. So I'm going to go down to children's sizes. This is actually a 4T. This is a 4T, but I could go to a 5T if they had it. So no shame on them. Okay. Genetics, great. Good for you. But that wasn't me. And so there weren't a lot of influencers on Instagram who were short and thick. And putting on bathing suits. And I was. And so a lot of people found me and they said, I followed you because I looked like you. And now you've abandoned me. You've abandoned the big girl. And I'm here to say, I have not abandoned anyone. I am the same Miranda. I am just a different size, but it did not cure me of body image issues. It didn't cure me of negative self-talk. We all still have that going on.
Yeah.
A smaller body doesn't erase it.
Right.
Again, wish it did. Wish I was God's favorite and all of that were true, but it's not. And I want people to understand that, like, I don't even need to be an inspiration. I did not set out to do this to be inspirational. I would prefer if people were just indifferent. If they didn't care one way or another about what my body looked like at all. Fine by me. Fine by me. Just don't be negative.
Yeah.
Don't be sliding into my DMs to be mean to me about it.
Yeah.
Because that is centering yourself in my story. And I'm not asking you to do that.
Yeah.
I don't center myself in other people's stories. I don't watch people go on vacation and go, why can't I go on vacation? I wish I were on. I mean, I do actually slide into your DMs because I just want to be at Disney with you, but I'm not being mean to her about it. But I'm just like, we could all do that on social media and in real life all the time. Center ourselves in other people's story and say, why not me? Why not me? But that doesn't serve either person.
No.
It's bad for both people. It's bad for you. It's bad for them. Just cheer. Just be a cheerleader for people. And especially if they're trying to get healthy, especially if they're trying to better themselves and their health in some way, which I've just had all my blood work done and my cholesterol went down by 30%. I saved my life.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I saved my life, probably.
Yeah.
And my Opa died from type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
I was on the fast track. I had all the markers.
Yeah. I was too. I got all my blood work done before I started. And it was like, if the sliding scale was like 1 to 10, I was like 8.9, 9.4. So it's like, no, you're not. I mean, I was labeled pre-diabetic. So it's like, no, you don't have type 2.
You haven't been diagnosed yet.
Probably in like 10, 20 years, you'll have it. And then at that point, we'll start the medication that you'll be on for the rest of your life. So it's like, I just wait until that happens. Yes. So, I mean, honestly, we all should be cheering so big that in a way, hopefully I don't get canceled for this, but like in a way, Big Pharma is like not going to do well with this information, because what we're doing is you got 2 less people on type 2 diabetes medicine for the rest of their life. And that's not money in their pocket.
That is why they are on a campaign.
That's why it's so freaking hard for me to get my prescriptions. That was supposed to be covered by insurance, but still isn't. But that's a whole thing.
But that if
anyone needs pictures taken,
plug for her photography business. But it is interesting because if you look at all the negative publications and posts and things like that, and you track them back, it all goes back to Big Pharma not being able to make as much money as they would, because ultimately, do they want us to be on this medication for a year? No. They want us to be on it for 20 years because they make more money that way. They don't want our blood pressure to come down. They want us to be on Lipitor.
Right.
They don't want our cholesterol to come down. They want us to be on whatever the cholesterol medication is. And so their goal is to push out as much misinformation as possible and negative stuff as possible so that everyone will start to believe that. Yeah. And we see the comments, y'all. We see them. I get them directly sent to me. I see them in every single post that happens. Every time a housewife posts about losing weight, I see all the comments start to come in. And so much of that has been disproven.
Yeah.
There wasn't a shortage. There wasn't all this stuff, but that got out enough that people believed it. Yeah. So they look at us like we're evil people taking away Ozempic from Uncle Larry. That's just not the truth. That's not what happened. And so I would urge people
Uncle Larry, we love you.
Yeah. And shout out to Uncle Larry. I would encourage people to do as Ted Lasso says, be curious, not judgmental.
I was going to say be a goldfish, but yours is better in this scenario.
I already am a goldfish because of my lack of memory.
Same.
But yeah, be curious, not judgmental about people. Come from a place of wanting to learn more, because I am happy to educate. I'm happy to give all this stuff. But then the onus is on you to believe me and not to be like, well, my cousin's aunt who, lives in New Jersey did say, and it's just like, I can either give you my very personal firsthand experience, or you can listen to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think in life, there are always going to be good things to do, bad things to do, right things to do, wrong things to do. But there is a lot that is on either side, and everywhere in the middle is gray, and it's different for every person. And so at that point, when it becomes right or wrong for you, or good for or bad for you, it comes down to your motivation of why you're doing it.
Yes.
And my motivation behind why I do something has nothing to do with you. So for you to come and attack, what you've never done, but if you were to come and like attack my character in a way of doing something because I'm doing something, but you don't know my motivation, that says nothing about me. It says everything about you. But instead, if we are doing something that we believe is right for ourselves and it is not illegal, it is not hurting anyone, then if good things happen, we should be celebrating so big for that person. And you might not understand, and that's okay. And you might not be able to completely sympathize or empathize, and that's okay. We're just saying we're doing something that we truly believe is good for us. I have now, I started all of this.
Are you wanting to share numbers?
What numbers do you want me to share?
How much total have you lost?
Yeah. So this all kick-started in August of 2022 for me when I did the 75 hard challenge.
Yes.
And when I say this all kick-started, it actually all kick-started when I was in third grade and became aware that my body wasn't perfect and then lived with shame of my body size, literally silently and internally up until a few years ago before I talked about it publicly with my sister. And that was so incredibly healing and helpful.
All that in. You never talked about your body.
No. And it's so sad because I was so insecure about so many different parts of my body. But then I'll go back and see photos of myself. And I was like, Morgan, you were so cute. Like you were just a 12-year-old. You were just a 15-year-old. You're just an 18-year-old. Like you were fine.
There's that famous meme that's like, I wish I were as skinny as I was when I thought I was fat.
Yes.
And I'm like, you can track that back to any moment in my lifetime.
But at the same time, I could see from a young age that I was so active. I played so many sports. I was running miles every day, and sports practice that we had 2+ hours every day after school, also PE, also recess. I was a very active child. There were signs from the beginning that there wasn't everything quite working correctly in my body, which is why I am where I am today.
As
and
far as
finally got
insulin
help.
regulation and things like that.
Metabolism, insulin,
metabolism,
even thyroid stuff, it all plays a part. It all works together or doesn't work together.
Yep.
So
I was like, please tell me I have a thyroid condition. I was praying for it every time I went to the doctor, so that they would just give me hypothyroid medicine and it would make me thin. Yeah. I thought taking Adderall was going to make me skinny. It didn't. I was really bummed about that. When you talk about an easy pill, I'm like, I want one of those. Yeah. It didn't work for me the same way it worked for everybody else, you know? But so you always kind of had this in your mind that something is bad or different about my body. Yeah. And you just sat silently with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I went into my first eating disorder was in 8th grade and I was almost put in treatment then. And so for me, then it was, but I was already hating myself. I was already showering with clothes on so that even the mirror wouldn't catch my reflection. When I got out, I would just towel on top of wet clothes. What are we doing? I look back and I'm so ashamed of myself about hating myself so much. Yeah. And then it just spiraled out of control basically.
So much of it is mental.
So much of it. And so when people come for me,
I'm like, listen, you've not lived in this body for 31 years. You don't get to talk about it.
Yeah, it really.
I haven't missed a day of living in this body. So I've been here for all the good days and the bad days.
Absolutely, babe. God, that fires me up so much when people have these preconceived notions and they have all these ideas about why it is absolutely bad to be on these. And they've just made up their minds that it is not right. It is wrong. It is too easy. You haven't worked hard enough. There's so many other things you could have tried. And I'm like, you don't think I have?
Yeah.
You don't think I beat myself up enough?
Yeah.
I need you now to beat me up more?
Yeah.
Get off my back and get off your back. Okay. So anyway.
And everyone's bodies are different. So if you can do the South Beach diet and it worked for you, I'm happy for you.
Too.
And if you can do intermittent fasting and that worked for you and not drain all of your energy and enjoyment to live life, I love that for you.
Truly, I want, and even if you take a GLP-1 and you get no side effects And it gives you so much energy. I actually asked my doctor, did y'all forget the B12 part of mine? Because I thought I was going to have all this energy. Where's mine?
Yeah.
I'm like, can you check the pharmacy on that? But like, if all those things happen and you take it and you have no side effects and you are just dropping the weight and you kind of not even really changing your eating habits, again, I'm still happy for you, even though that wasn't my experience.
Also, I'd love to know you. I don't know one single person who that is, but
I only know one, but I'm like, wow.
I love that for them because I was not that way.
What were some of your worst side effects?
I had a lot of nausea, and mine would hit me like in the middle of the night. I would wake up and run to the bathroom and get sick.
Out of slumber. Mine was when I was trying to brush my teeth on Wednesday nights. Don't know why. Wednesday nights, I would give myself the shot on Sundays, and then on Wednesday nights,
it would take that long.
It would take like that long.
Mine was like the next 2 days were just really tough for me.
Yeah,
and low energy, just didn't feel good.
Yeah,
a lot of nausea.
For me, that was the first couple of months. I would say like right after the shot, like not feeling so hot. That's why, because Mondays are kind of my flex days.
Yeah.
I don't have any like big commitment on Monday. So that's why I did it on Sunday nights. But then it comes to find out that like, no, you're just going to puke randomly on Wednesday nights. So
it's just how this is going to go.
Yeah. There was kind of no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. Which I feel like, I mean, I don't want this to be too much information, but like in the moments when I was like sick.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if maybe I am just very weak as a person, but I felt like I was going to die. Like I was like, This is like, I hurt so bad. And I would have moments of like, is this worth it? And I feel like if any person was doing it, I don't know, this is a generalization, but like if anyone was doing it not for the right reasons, they would have quit then.
Absolutely.
But for me, I was like, this is worth it.
Yes.
And if people even just knew how
hard
that was for me, and it was not a one-time thing. When I first started, I mean, it was pretty constant, and it was every time I went up on a dose, which was every month.
Yeah.
And I mean, but every time I was just like, I am in so much pain, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop.
Same.
And the way it has changed my relationship with food, amazing.
Amazing.
I've lost 80 pounds.
Amazing.
Which, let me say, 80 pounds was my like stretch goal, and I hit it, and I'm so grateful that I hit it. Since then, I've also just been working out way more consistently. I was working out when this was all happening, but I've really kicked in the gear.
Sometimes you feel too bad to work out. Like sometimes you just felt so sick you couldn't.
Like walking up the stairs, I'm like huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I'm like getting more muscle on me, because that's the thing too. When you're losing weight and you're not working out, you're losing muscle as well. So it's not like your body knows, oh, we're going to target the stomach first, and then we're going to go to the chest, and then we're going to get thighs. Like that's not how it works.
I can prove to people, if you go to my stories, you will see my stomach. My stomach still, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
You're beautiful.
Thank you so much. But I'm a realistic enough person to say like, the same thing I hated the most coming into this about my body, I still hate the most about my body.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not going to cure all your problems. No. We still live in a world where there's always going to be things we're striving towards, and there's always going to be someone doing better, someone doing more, a way to make yourself better.
Yep.
But what's important is that we're doing what we believe is right for us.
And it is making us healthier, because the numbers on our blood work don't lie.
Yeah.
This is just black and white facts here that you know, the A1C goes down, the cholesterol goes down, all the good markers are going up where they need to, and all of the bad markers are going down where they need to. And it has added years onto our life and has made us so much more mentally happy, not because of the weight loss, but because of the relationship with food we get to have now.
Yeah.
Like it's so refreshing to look at food as a way to sustain my body, my life, instead of it being an enemy of mine.
And I'd even go a step further, because I am, as an Enneagram 7 and just as a Morgan, I love experiencing different things, and I love experiencing food. And like, and I would take it so far where I would eat an entire box of Oreos because of just that experience of like, I'm so happy I'm in this moment. I'm watching a movie with the people I love, and I don't know when to stop, because I'm watching the movie and I'm not even thinking that I'm chewing and
my stomach doesn't hurt if I eat a whole thing of Oreos.
But now
I wish it had a physical.
I know.
Now it would.
But now it does.
Yes.
But I almost feel like I am enjoying the experience more because and word of the year for this year for me is savor. I am savoring it because I'm like, I don't have to have
O-R,
6 of
not
them.
E-R. Savor, E-R. Savor, O-R.
Okay. I think I've been spelling it right.
No, you have been. What I'm saying is savor, O-R is different than savor. I was making a joke that I'm cheap.
Yes.
And you experience all the things. And
she
I
savors,
love that
I savor.
Yes. See? I savor and you savor.
Get it? That. I do. That's
I like
so
that.
Us. That's really nice.
It is so us.
Right now in your life, having gone through everything you've gone through, I mean, looking back at your entire life, but specifically the past year of this journey, what is something amazing that you have either learned or experienced since having the weight loss and the healthier numbers? Is there something like happy and really good that you've seen? Have you seen more energy in yourself?
Well, I don't sleep. I'm not sleep still eludes me.
Yeah.
And that's been a struggle my whole entire life. If you ask my mother, I've never slept. I have FOMO and just don't easily sleep. And there's so much else that I want to be doing, I guess. I don't know. So I, again, have not felt the energy part of it simply because I think it all still comes down to the sleep for me. But I think that it's been interesting dressing this new body of mine because I always wanted to look cute. I was always linking stuff that was flattering for me. I was very, careful with the wording I was using and stuff because ultimately, like, just dress however you're happiest. But, I was very intentional with my followers to say, hey, let's create a waist with, cinching here and like, let's have it pulling away and falling away from the stomach. And I always covered my arms because I didn't like my arms. And so now it's like, I can't believe I'm wearing something sleeveless to record all day, knowing I'm going to be on camera in so many different ways. Like that's been really fun to dress my body. That's got to be fun for you too.
So
right?
Fun.
Like to dress our bodies in a way that is showing off parts of them that we always kept hidden.
I'll still put on a new style that I've never grabbed off the rack before because I just knew it wouldn't work. And I put it on and it's like,
oh, there you are. Like, isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I'm just rediscovering parts of my body that I was so busy trying to hide and flatter and hope no one kind of caught it. Right. And now I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of the work I've put in. I've done 80 classes at Hilliard Studio Method.
I was going to say, I'm proud of how many burpees I can do. Burpees were a struggle for me.
They're
hard for everybody now still. But like, it's just nice not lugging an extra 80 pounds while doing a burpee.
Amen. Someone, Harris Teeter asked me, last year I ran a 10K for Harris Teeter. They do the Cooper River Bridge run every year. They're like the big presenting sponsor. And I ran it last year and I was at my absolute heaviest. And I gained 12 pounds while training for it. So again, tried everything. Just runs cardio. My body was like, hold my beer. So gained some weight on that, of course. And so they asked me if I wanted to do it again this year. And I have not tried to run since losing the weight.
Yeah.
I haven't run at all in this process. And I really wanted to say yes to it because like what a difference, not only just being lighter, not again, having to carry that weight, but I have been working out very so consistently that my lungs are better just in general. Right. And I would probably have more endurance and everything. And I'd love to crush the number that I got.
Yeah.
But I hurt my knee 2 weeks ago and I've been nursing it and trying to baby it. And I've still been going to Hilliard, but modifying things. Okay. And so I just know that if I were to try to run and literally train for a 10K in 3.5 weeks, that this knee would get so much worse than it already is right now. And so I had to say no. I'm hoping that they can use me in a different capacity because I still want to go and like be Team Teeter, but I just don't think I can run. And it really bums me out because now I would actually be excited to try it. Whereas last year I did it as a challenge, but also was like, how am I going to do this? Yeah. Now I'm like, maybe you really could do it and kill it, but I can't because the knee.
Yeah. When it's better, let me know. We'll go around Waverly.
Do you like to run?
No, but I like, no.
Like the way you said that, like, oh, well, just let me know. Cause like, I would love to have a little running partner.
I love hanging out with people.
I know you do, but
no, I do not. I enjoy like active sports where there's like a goal. So like I played soccer, basketball, volleyball. I love tennis, pickleball. Like I love being active. I love playing a game. That is the type of activity I love. So I go to bar 3.
Yes.
And I do really love bar 3. It's really the only workout that I've done that has kept my attention.
Yes. That's exactly how I feel about HSM. I think that they're very similar, like Pilates centric workouts, but then adding so many other things. Is yours? You do so ours stop. Is like, you don't stop, music the whole time, full body. Yes.
I mean, it is a full body, incredible workout. Signed up for the 7:15 and the 8:30, and I'm considering doing both. Is that crazy?
Oh my God. Who is she? 2-a-days?
No, I finished the workout and I'm like, I could do that again.
Because your adrenaline's going so much.
It is amazing because I am not normally that person, but the past couple of weeks with just everything that I had gone through, my like fight or flight was I have to move my body. And I would I did a workout on Sunday. I ain't ever working out on a Sunday. I'm like sitting on my couch.
I know.
And I was like, y'all go do a workout on Sunday. And it like I'm just moving your body just makes you feel so good.
You're just so motivated. I think that this medication has been like, obviously the physical, but the mental part of it.
Oh, it's been
I wouldn't
probably just as mental as if not more for me.
It started with the mental. The second that I was like, wait a minute, I finished a meal and I'm not already thinking about the next one. That is so weird.
Like, I don't need to see that dessert menu.
I don't.
Yeah.
I was so addicted to sugar. I know you were too. I was so addicted to sugar.
Yeah.
And you just don't have the cravings for sugar that we used to.
Today, I went to Whole Foods because sometimes I'll just go to Whole Foods because they have that really good cafeteria and not cafeteria, but like the little line where I filled up my plate with like all vegetables. I had Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, some kale, something. And what else did I have? I had something else. I don't remember. And then I was like, well, I also need a protein. I got like one little chicken, like a grilled chicken. And I was like, I never would have done this.
No, old me, like I would have thought.
Yeah.
Like now looking back, I'm like, no, but you tried. You counted macros. You did fast away. You did isogen. You did all the things. But for sure, your body just gravitates. Like for me, when I first started, I needed all cold, crunchy, crispy, fresh food. So, inherently I was eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and salads.
Yeah.
So it's not, my body just didn't even think about driving through somewhere. I used to drive through places and I craved fried foods or I craved a Krispy Kreme hot. If the hot sign was on, it was like calling to me. And like I said earlier, if I ate I didn't eat 6 of them, but if I ate 3 of them, my stomach would not have a reaction to it. I would not be like, oh gosh, I wanted to be one of the girlies who was like, gosh, I can just tell that I've had a little too much dairy. I just didn't have that reaction. My body was like, keep going, have more. I just didn't have it. But this has freed me from that food prison that I felt like I was in. And then the guilt that came out, it was just, the mental part of it has been so incredible. And of course, I'm weaning off of it now and I'm going to be completely off of it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I was going to say, share as much or a little about that.
I don't know.
Because everyone wants to know, what do you do? And I've gotten all those questions too of like, well, how long do you stay on it? Well, when do you stop or do you stop?
Lots of things that you can do. So I'm
like, I don't know. Do you want to call my endocrinologist and have a conversation with him? Or
I know everyone's become medical doctors somewhere along the way with the release of the Ozempic of it all.
So much on YouTube.
Everyone is an endo. Tell me more. So it's fascinating, you guys, but I'm going through a place called the Aesthetic Concierge. They've been incredible. It's a private boutique thing. So not through my doctor or anything like that, going through the Aesthetic Concierge. And there's several ways that you can do it. And I'm sure that yours is the same way, but it's like you can be a lifer and you can live on a very small dosage, maybe even once a month. And you just kind of have that to monitor that more mental part of this puzzle. Right? Mm-hmm. So you can do that. You can stay on a very low dose every week. What it's proven is like, and we've had long-term results about this because people have been, again, taking GLP-1 peptides for decades, is we know people can live on them.
Yeah.
And it's not like your brain explodes. Like we know that. And so you can still do it even if you're using it for weight loss. And so it's really up to you and your medical provider and your numbers and whatever, and you to decide what you want. For me, I want to be off of it completely because frankly, I'm just sick of the acid reflux.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Oh, I never had that. That sounds terrible.
It's my number one side effect.
Okay.
Is acid reflux. So I have at first was trying to do papaya enzymes, Tums, like more of the natural kind of stuff and it just wouldn't do anything. So I'm on Prilosec OTC every day. And ultimately I just don't want to be on a medication every day if I can help it. And so I want to be off of it simply for the side effects to stop. Yeah. And of course I would be lying if I was like, and I'm not worried at all about ballooning up and being a big fat fatty so everyone can point at me and laugh and say, I told you so. That's just the truth. I know that there are so many people who want me to fail, who want me to get off of it and say, see, you didn't make the necessary changes. You didn't change your food enough and you didn't start working out enough and you didn't make the mental changes. You didn't do the internal work and everything else. I promise you, I have done the amount of work that someone can do to change all of that. Yeah. This is a humble brag. I've done it. Yeah. I have done it. I have made working out a priority, a consistency. I've changed the way I eat. I have done spiritual work. I have done the work. And I hope that it's enough. So when people ask me that, it makes me feel like I'm not enough. And I would recommend to people to stop doing that. It is not helpful. There is nothing that you can potentially have thought of on my behalf that I have not already done for myself. And I know you feel the same way. Yeah. We've done enough. And I am bound and determined to continue to have success even without it. And I know, much like people who take other medications, so let's say you take Prozac and you get to a place where those things that Prozac was helping you manage, you think, okay, I've gotten it. It's under control. Those maybe factors in my life are not a factor anymore. And I want to try to wean off of this and see what it's like without Prozac. And you do all of that and you get off of it and you're great for a couple years, right? Then something else happens and you realize, I'm kind of feeling the way I did before. Maybe I need to get back on it for the time being. You can do that. Yeah. I can do that with this. And I know that that's always an option. And I think that that helps relieve me a little bit. Yeah. And so I will be as honest with that as I have been throughout this whole process and journey. So many people are like, what's the secret? Like when I did my bathing suit trial this year, they're like, oh my gosh, you've lost a ton of weight. What's the secret? I'm like, there is no secret. I have spoken for 10 months about this. There's 2 weight loss highlight bubbles, 6 podcasts. Like,
we got a code for you.
Yeah, I have a code, Miranda 20 with the Aesthetic Concierge if you want it. Like, I have not been secretive. Now, there are lots of people who have not shared that they're on it. You don't have to. It's your medical information. I don't walk around meeting people being like, hey, tell me all the meds you're on. That's weird. But don't lump me into the society of secret keepers who aren't admitting to it because I have been very forthcoming with all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I will continue to be that way as I continue to wean off, get off all together. And then, you know, people are watching my body with a magnifying glass. I did it. So I know that they're going to be watching me. And again, you can't watch me as much as I'm already watching me. Yeah. It's all in here.
You're such a hard worker and you're so persistent and you're beautiful today. You were beautiful 2 years ago.
Thank you.
You're just beautiful. You are a beautiful person.
Thank you.
And I just hope that you know this, but like as many of the haters that there are
a lot of haters.
Number one, we can't control what they think and what they say.
No.
That does not mean that when they say it, it doesn't hurt. So that is hard. And I feel like you have done a very polite job of saying, please stop.
Yeah.
But we cannot control it. It honestly has only things to mean about them. So I just never want you, and I know you don't, but just encouragement from a friend and from another person on the same journey of there are so many more people who are rooting for you and who do love you. And it doesn't have anything to do with deciding to take the medication today or not tomorrow. It's just you as a person that is who we love.
Yeah.
And I can say that confidently to you because I know you feel that way about me and I have people who feel that way about me. And so what we're doing, we feel like is right for us. Yeah. And that's it, period.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I have loved watching you handle this in the spotlight in a way that no one else I personally know is doing it.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
And if you decide to never take it again or stay on it for the rest of your life, I'm like, hey, I'm great with maintenance for the rest of my life. I'm great with that. Yeah. So, I mean,
and everyone gets to decide
that's the point, is everyone gets to decide. Everyone's body is unique. Everyone's reasons are different. Unless it's illegal or hurting someone else.
Yep.
Let's just trust each other. And that's how we build each other up. That's how we cheer each other on. And I hope that people know, and I'm sure they already do, but if not, you're listening now. If this is something that you're struggling with, or you're having a mental struggle about whatever, know that Miranda and I are safe people to come to like help you through that too, because you're just naturally a very good helper. And I just have lived this experience and would like to help in any way that I can. So I think you're doing a great job.
And if anybody out there has a problem with somebody taking this, even after listening to us talk about it in this very open and honest way, if you still have these very negative feelings towards it, all I would encourage you to do is just scroll by.
Yeah.
Just scroll by it. If
maybe
it's
scroll
you,
by and then maybe ask yourself why.
Yeah. And maybe ask yourself why. I do think that that's a really big part of this.
Like, what is, somebody said this, what is the thing beneath the thing?
Yeah.
Are you upset because she looks like she's being successful? Is that because you feel like you're not successful? Well, what is it about your life that you don't feel successful in? Yeah. Okay, well, what can we do to make tangible goals for you to get to the point that you want to be? It has nothing to do with that person. It actually has so much more to do with yourself.
Yes. And people, I don't think, want to get honest about that. Yeah. And there's an uncomfortability there. And for some people, it's as simple as like, well, I want to do it, but I can't afford it. Yeah. It is a pricey medication.
I get it.
I get that. You guys are right. The fact that I have a partnership with it is the way that I was able to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't have afforded this without it. And so I get that. That's why I've been so honest about the fact that it's a partnership. Yeah. And I think that bothers some people too. Now, is there an inherent cost that they get? You know, it's a partnership for a reason. They realize that I am worth it as a marketing person.
Also, it's just your job.
It is my job.
It's your job.
Y'all get paid for your jobs.
Yeah.
So why can't I get paid for my job? This is my job. This is exactly how it works. So that is one thing. And I understand that the cost is high for people, and my code will save you 20%. Anyway, so that's one thing. And then other people are just like, I just vehemently disagree with the way in which it's being done. Okay, that's fine, but you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah.
I disagree with a lot of things I see people post on the internet.
Yeah.
I never once slide into their DMs and tell them that. I just don't, because it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Her success is not your failure.
No.
I have to say that to myself daily. Yeah. Her success is not your failure.
Yes.
Another thing I would say,
not your time.
Yeah. Another thing I would say too is like, our doctors are very involved in this process. Yeah. So if someone's listening and they have more questions or don't know if it's right, like go talk to your doctor about it. And they should be a safe place for you. Let me like personally say this. They should be a safe place for you to talk to them about anything, and they should hear you out. And if they don't, and I'm not saying you say, I should do this and then like bend over backwards.
Right.
Just like, but you should have someone who is willing to listen and not treat you like just the next patient in and out. And I feel confidently about that because I have had medical professionals in my life who are those people, and I have had people who are not, and I have made changes.
Yes.
And it was hard, and I had to wait another 4 months to be seen.
Yep.
But I'm glad I did, and everyone ought to have that. So, and if that's maybe where it starts for someone who's listening, then let it start there.
Yeah.
And then make decisions off of that.
Get your blood work done. Get a physical done. I wasn't allowed to even get this medication without those two things.
I went yesterday, got my physical.
Good job.
I needed that affirmation.
I was about to do a thumbs up, and
hey, listen,
like, it's going to pop up again.
It's difficult. It's difficult to schedule those appointments.
Girls to make an appointment.
I did it.
So overwhelming. Really,
I had to fast for like 12 hours before.
The fast. But yeah, start with all of that. And then at least you have a clearer picture of kind of what's going on internally. And then you can present it to your medical professional. So yeah, I'm walking hand in hand with my GP, my doctor at the aesthetic concierge, Dr. Bloom. Then I have an NP, Jess, who monitors all of my stuff. So you'll have to be careful about who you're getting this through and from, because you can have some side effects that can teeter on dangerous, right? So if you are throwing up so much that you are dehydrated, that you are stripping the lining, like all this sort of stuff, then yes, you can eventually get gastroparesis or whatever. You can have low kidney function. So that's why it's important to be doing this under medical care, because you're going to say, hey, I threw up 2 times. I'm feeling really lightheaded. And they're going to be like, okay, let's do this, this, and this. I mean, they came over and did an IV for me because I had said, well, last Monday I got really overheated. Now I was working in a house in the dead of summer with no AC.
Yeah.
So of course I wasn't going to feel very good. I think on an average day, but then you do the shot.
Meanwhile, I got out of bed
and you're like, woo!
That's what I did. I passed out. Did I tell you about that? Surely you knew about that.
What?
I got out of bed. Here's this funny story. It's one of those now it's funny.
Yeah.
It was terrifying in the moment.
I bet.
I got out of bed because I heard Cannon. He was like in the window, scratching at the window. It was maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. So not in the middle of the night. Like normal people are awake, but I'm not awake.
Not us. We're not awake.
To me, it was 3 a.m.
Might as well have been midnight. So no, we're actually awake.
I get up out of bed and I had done my shot, I think the day before.
Okay.
And I was just dehydrated. Yeah. It was a user error.
Yeah.
And I got out of bed too fast. Yeah. I walked to the door. The next thing I know, I have no concept of where I am, what's happening, but I'm reaching for my head because I hit my head because I passed out, hit my head on the
And when you came
floor,
to, you're like,
the hard floor, and just felt pain, stood up, panicked, called my dad because I didn't know what else to do, thinking he's going to be asleep. No, he's like on his way to work.
Yeah. like normal people, not us.
Like a normal person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there cannot be secrets in this. If you're going to do it, people need to be aware of what you're doing. Like, just don't be secretive.
Some random person who can write you the prescription because
people are doing that.
Yeah. And I'm like, that is 0 out of 10 recommend that. No. You have to do this under medical care because there are side effects that you can have. And if they go on for too long, then you might be dealing with some stuff. And that's why you hear horror stories of like, well, I know someone who their kidney stopped functioning. And I'm like, that doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen from one shot. That happens from they are not telling their medical provider of the problems that they are having because somewhere along the line they thought, well, yeah, I'm just going to get side effects from this.
Yeah.
But some people don't. Number 1. And 2, they can't go on that long. So just make sure that if you're going to do this, that you're talking openly and honestly with whoever your medical provider is. And they want to help you. They want you to have success.
Yeah.
They do not want you to spend this on this medication.
Yeah.
To not have success.
So when I walk in and they're like, I'm so happy for you. Look incredible. How are you feeling? I'm like, okay, if that's how they're feeling, that's how all y'all ought to be feeling.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Okay. Well, I have one final question for you. We can wrap this thing up. The show's called Love That For You. So I need to know what you are, your face. I need to know what you're loving right now. I forgot to warn you. That's on me. What are you loving in life right now? And I'll give you a minute. I'll give you 5 minutes. Are you doing something? Are you listening to something? Are you watching something?
Well, I'm loving Traders. And I got you turned on to
right answer. I was hoping we could talk about this.
Y'all, Traders, I have not felt this way about a show in a very long time.
It also, let me pause you right there. It just is very comforting to know that it's like Traders season 2 just came out versus Survivor season 76.
You can't catch up.
It's just a lot and it's overwhelming. Yeah. So to know that we're at the beginning of something new, and when I just finished the first season last night, and I felt like this is not one of those shows that can only happen once. Like this is going to be a classic that will remain, because even I'm literally halfway through episode 1 of season 2. But like they've already made changes. So it's not like it's the same every time.
No, it's not. They've already made changes. And I'm curious when you're done watching this one, Kristen and I talked about what we think a change is going to be in season 3, but you have to get through this one first and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
So of course, DM or, text me right away as soon as you finish. But I'm craving this show.
Yeah.
You're craving it, right? You just can't even believe how much you can love a show again, because I'm a huge TV person. I went to school for broadcasting. I love TV. When people are like, what do you love? I'm like, television.
Yeah.
I love TV.
Okay. Give like a 8-second synopsis of what this show is. And also you watch it on Peacock.
Yeah. Watch it on Peacock.
But what's the plot?
Okay.
Like,
the plot is a bunch of people reality stars. But in the first season, it was like half normal people, half reality stars, which was kind of cool because they had fans of those shows. So like one guy was like, I am such a Big Brother fan. I cannot believe that so-and-so is here.
Like former bachelors are on.
Like he worked at the DMV, but he was very excited about this Big Brother girl. The first season is very interesting because you have normal people, but then you have people who are so used to the conniving part of reality television that they are different breeds. So in second season, they brought all reality people.
What if they got like all politicians?
Oh, it would be crazy. But that's what they're used to, right? So it's people who go to a castle in Scotland, and there are several people who are assigned traitors, and you get to find out who they are. And then there are all the faithfuls. The rest of the people are faithfuls. And the traitors, they get to vote out people. They get to kill them. But then there's also banishments that happen at a round table where everybody is voting right in front of you about who's going to leave. And then the traitors get to kill somebody. And ultimately, by the end of it, if there's a traitor left amongst the group, if the faithfuls have not figured out who all the traitors are and there's a traitor left amongst the group, they get to win all the money.
Which last season was
the money basically through challenges.
$250,000.
Yes, $250,000. But if there aren't any traitors left by the end of it, then whoever's left of the faithfuls all split the pot of money.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge reason to get the traitors out. And then the traitors have a huge reason to get all the faithfuls out.
Yeah.
And it's the way that they film it and the gameplay and everything is so amazing.
Have you played Secret Hitler?
No.
Okay. Miranda, I'm about to change your life.
Okay.
So my community group specifically, there's like 14 of us in this group. Mm-hmm. I think Secret Hitler, you can play up to 10 or 12 people. But anyway, we are obsessed with this game. It's called Secret Hitler. It's essentially what The Traitors is.
Okay. Is it on an app?
No, it's a board game.
Okay.
Well, it's not like you're putting pawns on a board, but there is a board there. There's also cards. It's kind of confusing, but it's a mind game where there are liberals, which are the good people, and fascists, who are the bad people. And then one person is Hitler.
Are we allowed to say this?
Yes. It's a thing. It's a game.
Secret Hitler.
Yes.
Someone said, I could name this anything. Yeah. I'm going to go with Secret Hitler.
Buy it on my Amazon link. I'm not kidding. It's okay. It hasn't been canceled yet. And it's so fun. So everyone is convincing each other that they're the good guys, but among them are two bad guys. Well,
everyone is trying to be Hitler?
It's like Traitor. So you want to find out who Hitler is and murder him, or he is silently murdering other people. So it's the same concept, but you play it in a matter of 30, 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And so it's so fun to play with your friends because it's like, you can trust me, but at the end of it, they're like, oh, I was a fascist the whole time. And then you're like, you've lost.
Okay.
It's so when I found out about this show,
you're like, I've been playing this.
It's very similar. So it's super fun to play with a big group that you love.
Okay, good to know. I want to play this. I want to go on Traitors, but I'm not famous enough and I'm not on a reality television.
Well, I'm going to host a game night and we're going to play Secret Hitler all together. And it's one of those games where when you play it, you're like, after you end it, you're like, we can do one more round.
Yeah, we can do one more. And then it's 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Yeah, and Kodak's waking up and doing all the stuff.
I know.
Okay, so Traitors, I'm obsessed with. That's the thing I'm loving. I'm so happy that you watched all of season 1 so we could discuss it when I got here. Now you're on 2. Tonight is the finale and we get the reunion.
Oof.
They're releasing both, so we do not have to wait for the reunion for next week. So I'm excited about tonight.
I love it. Yeah. Miranda, thanks for coming on my show.
Thanks for having me.
I love you so much.
Hope that I love you. And I hope that everybody has learned something today.
Like what?
To stop being mad at people who are taking GLP-1 peptides.
And watch The Traitors.
Duh. And adopt cats.
Thanks for listening to this episode, friends. If you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the love with your friends and family. Remember, life is all about the stories we create and share, so let's keep spreading inspiration and positivity. See you next week.